Here's an interview from one of our past shows on Rock and Metal Revival. If you're interested in hearing full shows, go to our Facebook page and check out our list of affiliates for times and places where you can hear Rock and Metal Revival. There's brand new music from the band Rough Cutt. Yes, I said Rough Cutt. It's called Black Rose here on Rock and Metal Revival. And we want to welcome to the revival Rock and Dave, the Dave Alford, the drummer from Rough Cutt. Welcome to the revival.
Hello, how are you?
It's great to have you on the show, and Dave. Every time I hear Rough Cutt, it takes me back to my time back in almost my teenage years, hearing those first couple of albums. And I'm telling you what, you guys made this a more modern sound, but I can still hear the old Rough Cutt in this new tune, Black Rose.
Absolutely.
And tell us a little bit about when you guys came out with this. Was that the idea? Was it to keep with that Rough Cutt? With that Rough Cutt formula that you've used over the, I want to say, almost 40 years?
Yes, and that was exactly what we wanted to do. I wanted to achieve what we have achieved, but without changing our sound, and I wanted to keep the roots that is Rough Cutt. The band Rough Cutt, it literally means what it says. It's Rough Cutt. We had 5 writers in the old lineup, and we would you can imagine, you'd probably write, we'd write 40, 50 songs, and then we'd have to pick and choose. And once we signed to Warner Brothers, the formula that we had on the first record, which is completely different from the second record, but still, you can still hear that Rough Cutt formula, even in the second record, although they're completely opposite. We wanted to hang on to that, and I think we achieved it with Black Rose.
Well, Dave, I know you and Paul Shortino were original members, pretty much founding members of the band. Talk to us about this current lineup that you've got.
Well, the new lineup, which features our new singer, Stephen St. James. He goes way back in Hollywood Sunset bands back in the 80s, played with our guitar player, Chris Haggard, in a band called Sarge. And he went on to go sign with Motown, and we was out of touch for a while, and then he got married, did his thing, and like we all did, went separate ways. And then when we decided after Rough Riot to go back and keep Rough Cutt together, we chose Stephen to be our new vocalist, and I got Jeff Beener from, or Beuner is how you say his last name, from Portland, Oregon on bass. And then we added Darren Householder, used to play with Love Hate, his Shrapnel records, a real shredder guy. And because, Rough Cutt's built on the 2 dueling guitar scenario, and you can't keep it fresh if all the members are locked to the same style. So by getting Darren, it was just like having Chris and Amir. So as soon as we went into the studio and started rehearsing, it clicked immediately. And we're so happy with our new lineup. We can't wait to get out and play and show everybody. We did one show pre-COVID up in Portland with LA Guns, nice sold-out show, and we sprung the new lineup on them then, and it went over very, very well. I have hardly seen any negative press about, the old members. Everyone seems to accept it, which is a good thing because we love our new lineup. And like I said, we can't wait to get out and play for everyone.
Well, I know from, like I said, from hearing Black Rose, and I'm very impressed with this. Now, is there plans to do a full length? What's the thought for Rough Cutt moving forward?
Right now, what we're doing is we're working on an EP. It'll be like a 5-song EP. We've had a few offers from several different labels that haven't panned out yet, because I don't know if it's because of the pandemic or, if it's just not feasible for us at this time. but we've already got 3 more in the can. We will release it this year. I just don't have an exact date yet, but and I'm pretty sure we might shoot another video on like our next single that we release.
Outstanding. Dave, going back into the 80s, being a fan from the get-go, I remember being a fan of the original Rough Cutt releases back in the day, and I always heard a strong Dio influence. Was I correct in thinking that?
Yeah, you were. When I met Ronnie in Atlanta, Georgia, before I ever moved to California, a good friend of mine, Carmine Appice, his little brother, was playing drums in Black Sabbath. It was on the Heaven and Hell tour. And I went down to see Vinny at the Omni, and he introduced me to Ronnie. Ronnie and I became good friends, and we exchanged numbers, and then I moved to California. And once I found Paul, I brought, because Ronnie is like a singer's singer, or was, excuse me. He's was very impressed with Paul's voice and decided to take us on as his pet project. And his wife, Wendy, wanted to manage us, and the rest is history. She got assigned to Ronnie's label, Warner Brothers, worldwide. We did a few world tours and, did a second record with Jack Douglas, by the way, Aerosmith team, him and Jay Messina from way back in the day. Gosh, I sound so old the more we keep saying that. But we definitely have Dio with everything that I do, everything that I write, everything Chris does. We always have Ronnie in the back of our minds. And what would Ronnie do?
Exactly. That'd be a good T-shirt. Yeah.
That's actually a good idea. That's great, Greg. I'm going to have to pass that on. That'd be a great T-shirt.
What would Ronnie do? Now, I know that you, I was very impressed that when I read that you worked on the Hearing Aid project back for African Famine back together when Ronnie got everybody together. Tell us what that was like. That had to be an amazing event.
Well, back in those days, Vince Neil and I were like best friends at the time. And when Wendy told me about what Ronnie was up to, and plus I was pretty close friends with Jimmy Bain, and he was, him and Vivian are kind of the ones that wrote the song, We're Stars. And Vince and I, Vince says, yeah, that'd be great. I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but it was basically like, forget Michael Jackson, because he said on the air, I think, or it was in an interview, I can't remember, but someone had mentioned about, the heavy metal, hard rock side of rock and roll. And he kind of, in his own way, said, oh, they won't do nothing. They don't care, blah, 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 blah. And that infuriated Ronnie. Okay. So that's kind of how Hearing Aid Project came together, because we all wanted to give our part, give back, try to help the cause. And if you've seen the picture of the choir, everybody from Blackie Lawless to Carmine was in there. Rob Halford, Vince, me, Ronnie, Frankie Benelli, all the guys from a lot of bands.
That had to be just an incredible day. I still listen to, actually, on our show, we play Stars every once in a while, because that song has just lasted the test of time. It is just such a great song.
It's Rough Cutt's encore song. The last few gigs we've done, we usually close with it. And when we did the Monsters of Rock cruise, it's the first time that we, we sprung it on the crowd. And everybody out there was singing the song.
Nice.
So you are correct. It's kind of a timeless tune.
It very much is, and it just sounds fresh even today.
Yeah, it does. And I love the benefit raised a lot of money. And I forget the guy's name. I'm walking up and down the stairs. Sorry, getting a little winded. The guy that started it, remember?
Bob Geldof, you mean? That started the...
Yeah. Geldof. He and Ronnie sat down and discussed a few things that had to do with hearing aid. And we wound up doing several benefits, for the cause back in the day with the original lineup. But this new lineup is continuing that. We're continuing that on. We still play the song, and we love playing it for the crowd. Everybody knows it.
It is, yeah. It is a great song. Well, Dave, I wanna thank you for taking time out to talk to us today on Rock and Metal Revival. And we always let our artists pick a song from their catalog to play out of the interview. Which one would you like us to dig out from Rough Cutt?
Let's see. That's a tough one. How about? Let me see. We're known for ballads. "Dreaming Again."
All right.
On the first record.
All right, here's Dreaming Again from Rough Cutt. Dave Alford, thank you so much for spending some time today on Rock and Metal Revival.
You guys rock, and we'll be talking to you again soon.